Hey all, welcome to Homeschool, and we are with the MCQ series for class 10 science, and I am with the chapter sources of energy today. So many of the students have lots of confusions in this chapter, right? Say which part is actually deleted for 2021 batch and which part is not deleted, right? See, I suggest you to study the entire chapter's knowledge you must have, because even on the deleted portion questions have been asked in the model papers, so you have to be aware of the concepts of entire chapter. Say before I go for MCQs, let me try to revise each and every concept in brief. Say I'm going to tell you what you have to remember for MCQ type of questions. Okay, I think if you can revise this much from a chapter, it is more than enough to attempt any question from this chapter. Clear? So try to note down the points that I'm writing on a board and try to recall yourself, like whether you are perfect with the concept or not. Clear? Fine. Say first and foremost, I'm going to tell you the qualities of good source of energy. So how do you know that which source of energy is good or not, right? So the very first topic is qualities of good source of energy. So there are 4 points you need to remember, which have been mentioned in our textbook. There are lots of qualities for good source of energy. So here I am listing you 4 points which is there in a textbook. So the first one is first point, the first good quality. Little amount of energy must do large work. Okay, so large work has to be done by little energy, by very little source. Clear? So then you say that particular energy has a good quality. Clear? So large work has to be done by little energy. Okay, clear? So basically this is what the meaning of that point. I'm not writing the entire sentence. Anyway, this is not a theory exam that you are writing. So only if you can understand the points meaning, it's more than enough. Okay, so any source of energy which is doing more work from little quantity of energy is categorized as good source of energy. Okay, and now second point is it has to be easily accessible. Okay, for example, solar energy, if you take, getting solar energy is much easier because sun is easily accessible, right? Say it's a renewable source of energy, we can easily get that energy, right? To convert that into electricity or into heat energy or whatever it is. So the energy has to be easily accessible, only then you will say it's a good source of energy. Okay, and next, the third one is it has to be easy for storage and transportation. Okay, mainly to transport it must be easy. Okay, and the fourth important point is it must be economical. So these are the 4 points that you have to remember for seeing a good source of energy. Clear? So this is a very fundamental concept in a chapter. And now I am going for a concept of conventional sources of energy. So there are some conventional sources of energy which you need to remember, okay, which you need to have a clarity on a concept. So the first conventional sources of energy is fossil fuels. Fossil fuels is actually under deleted portion for this year, I mean for 2021 batch. Okay, but still it's nice to have a knowledge on fossil fuels. Okay, so as I told you, you can't expect which question may come from a chapter, so better to have a knowledge on deleted portion also to avoid the risk. Okay, so why to take a risk of studying only limited things? So study the entire chapter, only this chapter is concerned. Clear? So fossil fuels example is coal and petroleum, right? So coal and petroleum are called as fossil fuels. and this is a non-renewable source of energy. First point you need to remember is it is a non-renewable source of energy. So what do you understand by non-renewable source of energy? This particular energy, this particular source will become extinct one fine day. Okay, if you use it too much, it will vanish, it will get perished. Okay, so it will get destroyed and it will not be available for the future generation. Okay, so you should not use it to a maximum extent. You should not overuse such particular sources, because one fine day it will get over. It will not be available for future generation. That is what we mean by renewable source of energy. Okay, sorry, non-renewable source of energy. Fine. So this is one important point. And the next one is these fossil fuels are used for various purposes. You can use it for generating heat energy. You can use it for generating electricity and various other things. And there is a great disadvantage of using fossil fuels. Okay, the first disadvantage is it causes air pollution. It causes air pollution. So how does it causes air pollution is when you use this fossil fuels, you will get oxides of nitrogen, sulfur and carbon into atmosphere. Okay, so these oxides of nitrogen, sulfur and carbon leads to the formation of acid rain. That's how it causes air pollution. Okay, so fossil fuels have to be used in a limited way. You should not overuse this. Clear? So these are few things that you have to remember about fossil fuels. Okay, and I am talking about the next conventional source of energy. This is very, very important. That is thermal power plant. Thermal power plant. So what will you observe in thermal power plants actually? In thermal power plants, you are converting heat energy. Thermal energy means heat energy is converted into electrical energy. Heat energy is converted into electrical energy. So this is very, very important to understand. So how do you produce heat energy in the thermal power plants? It is again by using coal and petroleum. Okay, say fossil fuels. You will set up thermal power plants near coal mines, isn't it? So wherever coal mines are there, in that area we will set up thermal power plants. Why? Because coal is a fossil fuel. By burning fossil fuels, okay, so actually by burning these fossil fuels, you will get heat. Okay, so this heat is used to produce steam, and this steam is used to rotate turbines. Okay, so turbines are big machines which are used for rotating. Okay, so these turbines are fixed to generators, and you all know how does a generator can convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. We studied in magnetic effect of electric current, right? So generator can able to produce electricity. Okay, so this is the flow chart of the conversion of heat energy into electricity. So first, what are you doing? You are burning fossil fuels. Okay, so that leads to the formation of heat. So that heat we are using to produce steam. So using steam, we are actually rotating turbine. Okay, so turbine is fixed with a generator. So in the generator, you will have a coil, armature coil that rotates, and you all know the mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy in generator. That's how your heat energy is getting converted into electrical energy in case of thermal power plants. Okay, fine. And now one more thing is very, very important. We know the usage of fossil fuels is very, very dangerous. But you know what? 60% of our electricity is produced by thermal power plants only. Okay, it's because little amount of source is enough to generate large amount of electricity, and production of electricity by thermal power plants is much easier, okay, much convenient, and and this particular electricity can be easily transmitted, okay, to various places actually. So that's the reason 60% of our electricity in our country is produced by thermal power plants itself. Clear? Fine. And one more thing is, always thermal power plants are set up near coal mines, is because transmission of energy. Okay, say one point, try to remember here. Transmission of energy, or whatever electricity is formed here, no, that is what we mean by energy. Okay, transmission of electricity is much easier than transportation of coal. That is the reason thermal power plants are set up near coal mines. Okay, say we don't transport coal and then we will bring it to thermal power plants. Transporting coal is much difficult. Compared to that, electricity you will produce in one place. That transmission of electricity, transporting electricity is much easier than the transportation of coal. Okay, so that's the reason power plants are set up near coal mines. Coal is not transported. Wherever coal is there only plants are set up. Plants are built, thermal power plants are built. It's because supplying electricity over a distance is more easier, okay, than transportation of coal to some place. Okay, so try to remember this point. So that's all about thermal power plants that you have to remember. And now let us talk about hydro power plants. Hydro power plants. See guys, in hydro power plants, actually the potential energy, this point is very, very important. Potential energy of falling water is getting converted into electrical energy. Okay, is getting converted into electrical energy. So which energy is getting converted? Potential energy of a falling water. Okay, so that's why it is always set up near a dams. Okay, so a dam is a water reservoir which is constructed at a very higher heights, right? Water is stored at very much higher heights. From there water would fall, and that water is used to rotate the turbines. Okay, so the water from dam, the falling water from dam is used to rotate turbines. Okay, and as the turbine rotates, it gets connected to generator. So in a generator, your mechanical energy is getting converted into electrical energy. So this is how electricity is produced in hydro power plants. Clear? Fine. And and this hydro power plant is also a renewable source of energy. This is also a renewable source of energy. And there are lots of disadvantages, and here you must understand about disadvantage also. So can you tell me what are the disadvantages of hydropower plants? The first one is you need large space, okay, to set a hydropower plant project. So that's the reason the people who stays in particular area, or the plant vegetation or animal vegetation will get destroyed, right? And the people find very difficult again to look after a new place, and that means the human rehabilitation would become a problem, right? So lots of vegetation will get destroyed. That is the major disadvantage of hydropower plant actually, right? That is the reason there were a lot of opposition to construct which dams, especially Theory Dam that was constructed on the river Ganga, and Sardar Sarovar project also had got lot of opposition, which actually constructed near the river Narmada. Okay, so why the opposition? It's because the human rehabilitation would become very difficult, and too much of plant vegetation will get destroyed. Clear? And you know what? And many plants and animals who die in that particular area when they construct this hydropower plant. And when they die, they release a poisonous gas. I mean, it's not, I cannot call it as a poisonous gas. I can say this methane gas is released from the rotten plants and animals, and this methane gas is a greenhouse gas. It is a greenhouse gas, isn't it? When do you get this methane gas? Say when vegetation is died, I mean when many plants and animals were dead, the rotten animals or plants would liberate this methane gas, and this methane gas would directly go into the environment, and that is one of the greenhouse gas which causes global warming, isn't it? So these are some of the disadvantages you have to remember in case of hydropower plants. Okay, fine. And coming to the next renewable source of energy, say first one is fossil fuels, second one thermal power plant, third one I discussed was hydropower plant, and now it is a fourth one, that is biomass. Okay, or I can say biogas. Okay, so how do you produce a biogas is very, very important. So you will take cow dung, right? Cow dung and other plant waste. Actually, anaerobic bacteria. Anaerobic bacteria in the sense the bacteria which decompose these particular organic matter into simple compounds. Okay, where one of the simple compound formed is methane, and that is the major constituent of biogas, isn't it? So cow dung and plant waste, you will dump it in a biogas plant. So and you will maintain that in the absence of oxygen. What happens? This is very, very important. So in the absence of oxygen, bacteria will decompose this cow dung and plant waste into biogas. Right? So in a biogas, the major component is methane. 70% methane you will have. Along with methane, you will get carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and hydrogen sulfide. H2S means hydrogen sulfide. Okay. Say major constituent is methane. So this is how you get biomass. Okay, sorry, biogas from biomass. Clear? So the main source of biogas is the cow dung. That is the reason this gas is also called as gobar gas. Gobar gas, because the main constituent, the main source here is cow dung. The main source used here is cow dung. So you call this biogas is also with the name gobar gas. Okay, so now let us try to discuss few advantages of biogas. Okay, so biogas actually has very high heating capacity. It has high heating capacity. Clear? And it doesn't leave any residue. No residue is observed. That means you don't observe any smoke here. This is a very, very clean gas actually. Clear? So it doesn't harm the environment, and most importantly, it is a renewable source of energy. This is a renewable source of energy, right? So these are few advantages, and one more advantage is the spent slurry. That means the used slurry. Slurry is used as manure. That is used, it can be used as a fertilizer for crops. Okay, and this particular spent slurry is there. No, this is rich with nitrogen and phosphorus. That's the reason it is used as manure in case of agriculture. Clear? So these are the advantages. Try to remember about the biomass or the biogas. Clear? Fine. And the next conventional source of energy is wind energy. So wind energy. So what happens here? Kinetic energy of wind. Kinetic energy of wind is used to convert electric energy. Okay, kinetic energy of wind is converted into electrical energy. So here the large windmills are set up. Okay, so each windmill will give very little amount of electricity. So over a place, there is a setup of so many windmills, and that is what we call wind energy farm. Okay, so what do you mean by wind energy farm? Many windmills are set up in one particular area where wind speed is very much higher. Okay, so actually to produce a good amount of electricity, wind must blow with this much speed, that is 15 kilometers per hour. Okay, so wind speed has to be 15 kilometers per hour, right? And then you can able to generate electricity. Otherwise, you can't generate that much electricity from this wind energy, right? So and there are many disadvantages of windmills also. Maintenance is very high, and setting up of windmill is too much costly, right? It's very it require too much of manpower, and setting to a very much high heights is also a very difficult thing. So these are some major disadvantages of wind energy. But try to remember, so what happens in wind energy, which energy is converted into electrical energy, and try to remember the speed, okay, and something about wind energy farm. That's all. So these are the various conventional sources of energy: fossil fuels, thermal power plant, hydropower plant, and then biogas, then wind energy. Okay, advantages and disadvantages you need to remember. So actually till here the syllabus is there for 2021 exam. Okay, the next concept is actually it is non-conventional sources of energy or alternative sources of energy, which was deleted, but still I am giving a brief summary about those sources of energies also. It's better to remember them because questions have been asked in the model papers. So let us quickly revise those alternative sources of energy also. And before that, if you want, you can take a screenshot of all these points. Say these are important points where MCQ questions can be asked. Clear? So just for a few seconds, take a screenshot and we will move on to alternative source of energy. See guys, I have written a short key points about alternative or non-conventional sources of energy on board. Say I would explain one by one. So these are the key points. If you can remember, that is more than enough for this year's examination. Clear? That is for 2021 batch. Fine. First, a very important type of non-conventional source of energy is solar energy. So if questions asked in MCQ format, you have to concentrate this solar energy. You should study about this in detail. Okay. So let me explain all of them. First thing you need to remember is solar energy is renewable source of energy. Say sun will never get exhausted, right? Sun will never get extinct. So as long as the sun is there, we can take energy from a sun and use it for various purposes, right? So that's why this is a renewable source of energy. First point to remember. Next one here, light and heat from sun is actually converted into electric energy. So this is how majorly we can use sun's energy. So we are using that solar energy into electric energy. Clear? Fine. Say which are the devices we can construct based on this solar energy is solar cookers, furnaces which are used for heating, and solar heaters. Okay, so in these devices our solar energy is getting converted into heat energy. So what's happening in these devices? Our solar energy is getting converted into heat energy. In which are the devices? It is in solar cookers, solar furnace and heaters. And one more point try to remember, solar cooker's surface is coated with black. Okay, because black can absorb large amount of heat. Okay, black can absorb large amount of heat and light. That's the reason solar cookers, solar furnaces are coated with black paint. Okay, they are coated with black colored thing. Clear? It is because the black color can absorb heat and light very, very nicely compared to other colors. So this is one more point, add to your points. Fine. And next important devices is solar cells. What's happening within a solar cell is our solar energy is getting converted into electricity. You must know the difference between this device and these devices. Solar cooker, furnace and heaters, you are converting solar energy into heat energy. But in case of solar cells, your solar energy is converted into electricity. Okay, so this point have to be noted. Fine. And from each cell, how much of voltage developed is 0.5 to 1 volt of voltage gets developed, and it can have a power of 0.7 watt. 0.7 watt electricity can be generated. Clear? So try to remember these numbers per each cell, right? Anyway, this is a very little amount of voltage, right? This is not at all enough. So what do? We will connect many cells with each other, and that's what we call solar panels. Okay, each cell can produce this much of voltage, whereas that is very much less. We want more voltage, more power is necessary. So many cells are connected with each other, and that's what we mean by solar panels. See, many cells connected. That's what is called as solar panels. And solar panels have both advantages and disadvantages. So try to remember both of them. Advantage of solar panels. Solar panels is nothing but many cells connected with each other. Advantages. No moving parts. There is no big moving parts. Okay. And then little maintenance, and it can be used in remote areas also. See, nowadays solar panels are widely used in satellites, TV, okay. So everywhere, they are used everywhere, solar panels, okay. And now let us discuss disadvantages. Try to remember disadvantages, right? These are very, very important. To make solar panels, we need to use, or to make each and every solar cell, we have to use silicon, not just the normal silicon. Special grade silicon have to be used. You know, we have lots of silicon on our earth, but special grade silicon is very less. Okay, but we need to use special grade silicon where its availability is difficult. Special grade silicon is not available too much on earth. It's very difficult. That is one disadvantage. Next one is solar panels means one cell connected with another one connected to the third one, right? Each and every cell is interconnected. And to interconnect, we want a metal called silver. Silver is necessary to interconnect, whereas silver is very much costly, right? Say its usage is also very much difficult because it's costly. So these are the two advantages. What are they? One is availability of special grade silicon is difficult. The other one is silver is used for the interconnection of cells, whereas silver is costly. So these are the various points that you have to remember about our solar energy. Clear? Now we will go for the next type of energy, energy from sea. There are three energies that can be used from sea. Using all the three energies, we can generate electricity. Okay, first one is tidal energy, wind energy, ocean thermal energy. Okay, so using tides, energy of tides, you can generate electricity. Using the waves in ocean, you can generate electricity. Similarly, we have something called ocean thermal energy. So what is this ocean thermal energy? Say there is a lot of heat in the ocean. Definitely when you go into a deeper places of ocean, you would observe lots of heat. And that heat we will use to boil ammonia. Okay, so that heat, whatever heat generated by ocean, that is used to boil ammonia. So steam, ammonia vapors are created. Okay, ammonia vapors are generated. Those vapors are used to rotate turbines. So turbines are connected to generators. So what is the work of generator? It converts our mechanical energy into electrical energy, isn't it? So later turbines are responsible for generation of electricity. Okay, so here what is used for rotating turbines? It is the vapors of ammonia. How do you get vapors of ammonia? When you boil it. How do you boil it? To boil it we need heat, no? Where do we get heat from? We will get it from ocean. Okay, say and such energy, the heat energy from ocean is called ocean thermal energy. So using this we can generate electricity. Okay, and now you know what, there must be a difference, like at what point you get heat is it is the point in between upper layer and bottom layer. Okay, say you should have a difference of 20 Kelvin temperature between upper layer and bottom layer. Okay, say between upper layer and bottom layer the depth must be 2 kilometers. Okay, so if this is upper layer, you should go 2 kilometers bottom. Okay, then at this upper layer and bottom layers difference, and there is a temperature difference, okay, between both the layers. So how much must be the temperature difference? This much must be the temperature difference. Okay, only then you can use ocean thermal energy to generate electricity. Clear? Fine. And that's all about energy from sea. And coming to geothermal energy. Okay, say here what we do is molten rocks in deeper hot regions. Okay, say in earth you would have molten rocks. So molten rocks in deeper hot regions, that area, the area or the region where molten rocks are present are called hot spots. Okay, so there lot of heat would be there, and that heat we will use to generate steam. So once steam is created, we can rotate the turbine connected to generator generates electricity. This is a common process. Okay, say here producing steam and producing energy to rotate turbine is different in different techniques. Once the steam or energy you got to rotate turbine, then the process is similar in all the power plants. Clear? Okay. And you know, geothermal energy plants are mainly there in two countries. Okay, one is in New Zealand, the other one is in USA. Okay, so that's all about geothermal energy. And the last you know, alternative source of energy is nuclear energy. So what's happening in nuclear power plant is we will take these elements, very high you know elements, uranium, plutonium, thorium. Okay, so they are actually very much heavy elements. Okay, and when these elements are hit with some neutrons, okay, we say it is bombarding. Bombarding means what? Hitting. Okay, when we hit these elemental surfaces with neutrons, you know, these guys will split up into smaller and smaller particles. Okay, so these are very much heavy elements. When you bombard them with neutrons, these split up into lighter nuclei, that is lighter particles, and during this process large amount of energy is released, large amount of heat is released. Okay, so that heat is used to produce steam. Once steam is produced, you know, that is used to rotate turbine, and once turbine is rotated with the help of generator, we can generate electricity, right? So here to rotate a turbine, you know, we are making use of this reaction, and this reaction is called nuclear fission. Remember, so which reaction takes place in nuclear power plants? It is nuclear fission. What do you mean by nuclear fission? These elements will break up into smaller and smaller particles when they are bombarded, that is when they are hit with neutrons. Clear? And there is one more word called nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion takes place in sun. Okay, say how can sun emit its radiation? It's due to a reaction taking place within a sun, that is called nuclear fusion. Okay, nuclear fusion, right? But in nuclear power plants, which is the reaction? Nuclear fission. So you shouldn't get confused between fission and fusion. Fission reaction takes place in nuclear power plants. Fusion reaction takes place in sun. Okay, that is responsible for solar energy. Clear? So this is all about alternative or non-conventional sources of energy that you need to remember for MCQ type of questions. So quickly take a screenshot, and now we will go for few MCQs, few important MCQs from the chapter. Clear? Coming to the first MCQ, guys. See, remember a point that very simple MCQs can be asked from this chapter. It is not a hard chapter. Only thing is you have to remember few points. If you can know that, you can easily answer the question. So first one, the process by which energy is produced in the sun. Just now I told how that large amount of radiations are produced from a sun. It is due to a reaction called nuclear fusion. Okay, see the options: nuclear fission, nuclear fusion, both fusion and fission, combustion of hydrogen. So definitely it is nuclear fusion. Okay, so for question number 1, option B is your answer. Okay, nuclear fusion. Coming to the second question, an ideal source of energy should have, so which is a good source of energy? Ideal means which source of energy is perfect, which is good. Okay, read out the option. High calorific value. High calorific value in the sense, high heating capacity. Okay, fine. Second option, easily transportability. Yes. Easy accessibility. All of this. Yes. A good quality source of energy must have all the three things, right? It must have high heating capacity. It must be transported in an easier way, and it should be accessible very easily. So I would go for the option D, right? So for the second question, option D is the answer. Coming to third question, which of the following organism produces biogas from cow dung slurry? Okay, it's a spelling mistake here. Sherry it has come, but it has to be slurry. In the biogas plant. Okay, which of the following organism produces biogas from cow dung slurry in the biogas plant? Is it a aerobic bacteria, anaerobic bacteria, protozoa, fungi? Definitely it is anaerobic bacteria. Anaerobic bacteria decomposes cow dung into methane. Yes or no? In the absence of oxygen. This bacteria to decompose, oxygen should not be there. Right? So such a bacteria is called anaerobic bacteria. So I would go for option B. So for the third question, option B is your answer. Coming to fourth question. Solar cells are made up of germanium, silicon, silver, aluminium. So you will have a confusion between silicon and silver, right? Actually, cells are made up of high grade silicon. When is silver used? If you want to connect one cell with another cell. If you want to make a solar panel, then silver is used. Silver is used for interconnection of cells. Whereas each cell to manufacture, silicon is used. High grade silicon is used. So the correct answer is silicon. They asked solar cells are made up of. They didn't ask anything about panels. They asked about single cell. They are made up of silicon. Okay. So for fourth question also, I will go for option B. Coming to fifth question. Which is the ultimate source of energy? No need to think. Sun is the ultimate source of energy, and this is a renewable source of energy, right? Sun will never get extinct. So definitely option B is your answer. Option B. Sixth question. Which of the following gases is the main constituent of natural gas? Okay, so natural gas is nothing but your biogas. Methane, ethane, propane, butane. Definitely option A is answer, that is methane. Okay, so 70% of the biogas is methane gas. Coming to the seventh question, guys. spent slurry, that is biogas waste, is called spent slurry, isn't it? This is used as what? Definitely it is used as manure, because that waste is rich with nitrogen and phosphorus. Both are very much essential elements for the growth of plant. So it is used as manure. So for the 7th question, option B is your answer. Coming to 8th question, actually you have to select the correct statement. You need to select the correct statement. Read all the 4 statements here. First one, potential energy possessed by stored water is converted into electricity. Kinetic energy possessed by stored water is converted into potential energy. Electricity is extracted from water. Water is converted into steam to produce electricity. Which among them is correct? Option 1 is correct. It is the potential energy of water that is converted into electricity, right? This point we discussed. Potential energy is converted into electricity. So definitely option A is the correct answer. Coming to 9th question. Choose the incorrect statement. Incorrect statement in the sense you have to choose the wrong statement here. Read all the 4 statements. Option A, we are encouraged to plant more trees so as to ensure clean environment and also provide biomass fuel. Definitely correct statement only. When you plant more and more trees, you can bring up a clean environment, isn't it? And you can make more biomass. So definitely it's a correct statement. They are asking wrong statement. Second option, gobar gas is produced when crops, vegetable waste, etc. decompose in the absence of oxygen. Correct. Third one, the main ingredient of biogas is ethane. Here only you can select. The main ingredient of biomass is what? Methane. Okay, so definitely option C is wrong. So for 9th question, option C is the correct answer. 10th question. Solar energy can be directly converted into electrical energy by which of the following devices? In which device solar energy is converted into electric energy? Solar cooker. What will happen in solar cooker? Solar energy converted into heat energy. For cooking we need heat, right? Okay. Solar heater. Solar energy converted into heat energy. Solar cell. Yes, definitely here solar energy is converted into electrical energy. So option C is correct answer. For 10th question, option C is correct answer. Okay, so that's all about the questions from sources of energy. Hope the concept is clear. Hope all your confusions and fear is clear with this particular video. And have a confidence and revise the entire chapter and get perfection with the concept so that you can easily answer any type of question that can be asked from a chapter. So that's all about today's video. We will meet up in the next video with sustainable management of natural resource and our environment. So both are small chapters. Okay, and from our environment, the large portion of syllabus is deleted for 2021 batch. So both chapters together, I will delete in the next video. Thank you so much. Keep revising and all the best. Do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in an easiest way and in a detailed way. Thank you.